Hey guys, Steve, KO4AFL here with Hope from Shack in a Box, and Hope is going to go over why they created Shack in a Box, what it is, and what they're doing. Hope, what do we got?
Okay, so why we started it is because I'm sure you know, in 2016 there was the Parks on the Air year, and everybody was all into that, and especially us. We like to go out as a family and to do Parks on the Air.
Good.
But our setup wasn't very good. Our radios were getting damaged, our power supplies were too heavy, our wires were a mess, things would get forgotten. And just having individual things wasn't feasible for us to be constantly going out. And so we started getting into the idea of what about putting it all together? And then that's kind of how we got started. Is we built our home shack, all that we would bring out to a park, into a box, into an enclosed system that was ready to unscrew it from your antenna at home and then go take it out to your car, take it out to a park or whatever.
So basically just ease of use.
Yes.
You know, so you don't have to duplicate your shack. It's just one connection.
Yes.
And everything's literally a shack in a box.
Yeah, that's why we got the name.
Great little play on words.
Sorry.
It's all good. I'll edit it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what do we have? What has the product developed into?
It has, so our first Go Box was this big thing. It had a power supply built in, all of that. And we quickly learned from it that you can't carry it when it has everything but the kitchen sink. Even including the kitchen sink.
Well, when the shack weighs more than you know, it's a little hard to carry it. You know, I did that myself. And
portability is a big thing. Even because we moved to Florida and now all of a sudden we got hurricanes, power outages, and all over the US that's an issue. So emergency communications, when we started getting into that became a big concern of ours. Is what if we need to carry this to a disaster area? If people are in areas, races, whatever it is, whatever the emergency, you're gonna need to be able to take it out there. So we tried to make it so that we would have Go Boxes that would fit everyone's needs, I guess. So we built it without power supplies, and that's how we got into, after Hurricane Dorian, my dad went down there to do disaster relief in the Bahamas. And we didn't have a battery enclosed, so you're tripping over your batteries in your tent out in the middle of nowhere. So you learn that you need to have it protected, but also in a system that wires aren't everywhere, people aren't gonna take anything. So whatever the situation, parks, emergencies, whatever.
So you came up with what you now call the solar generator?
Yes.
Okay, what is the solar generator for those that don't know?
Okay, so it has basically everything that you need for a power supply. It will have your battery on the inside, like this one has a 60 amp hour. They're lithium iron phosphate, so the lithium can't technically fly because the FAA regulates what kind of batteries can go on a plane.
And how, well, I think they regulate how many amp hours you can take.
Yes. So having a 60 or even a 30 amp hour, those are too big. But we do this kind versus other kinds of batteries that maybe can fly, because you're gonna get way better usage out of it. Because for anyone who's not familiar, the lithium iron phosphate batteries are expensive up front. But you get to use 90% of like the rated capacity before the circuitry cuts it straight off, so that you can't damage the battery by undercharging it. So in the end, you actually are using more of the power out of it, because when you're doing a contest, field day, or when you have lives in an emergency that depend on you, you need to be able to talk for the longest time possible. So we wanted to make sure
have that extra capacity in there. And the nice thing about the lithium iron phosphates is they're lighter than say a lead acid battery. You know, so it brings the weight down a little bit.
Yes, it brings it down.
And it looks like you may have partnered with BioInno, possibly. And Buddy Pole.
They have been good friends of ours. We've been using their stuff. So BioInno is who makes the batteries. And they have been working with us with all that's been going on for years to help us learn their systems and to show it to other people, because this, and then also they have solar panels. They work great together. And also Buddy Pull has been great because the Power Mini gives you so much information that it'll tell you what your battery's currently charged is. If it were hooked up to solar right now, it would tell you how long you've had solar, what's come in. It'll show you how much you've used. All of that information that when you're talking field day or if you're talking emergencies, whatever it may be, you need to make sure that your operating is going to be worth it. So if you're not really getting a lot out of your solar panel, then you can make those smart decisions and see, I'm taking more than I'm getting, but I'm not making any contacts.
Okay.
So it'd be better to get the multipliers at the gray line type thing.
There you go. Yeah.
So it allows you to make those field decisions so that radios, you can use them smartly.
Yeah.
And you can use your power smartly.
Okay. So that kind of covers the solar side. What do you have in the way of radio side?
We have all kinds of radios. These ones are all ICOM. We've also done Yaesu, even Kenwood. And this is really where it all kind of started, with a design similar to this, because it was our entire shack in a box. So this one has a VHF, UHF, as well as HF capabilities, because there are people who want to use it as their home shack like we did, and then just be able to take it right out to the field. So just unplug it and then throw it in your car.
You actually thought ahead, and you've got hangers for the microphones.
Yes.
And I'm an ICOM guy. I love my ICOMs. So I see you went with the 7300 and the 4100.
Yes.
Why the 4100 for this setup?
Well, for this setup, actually, that was just my choice because I had it when I built this.
Okay.
We have actually, it'll fit right here, the 5100.
Okay.
It really depends on what the user wants.
Okay.
Both are dual band, but maybe this has settings you like, or maybe the 5100 has settings you like.
Okay.
So it's really just options that we can do, because we can also build this with Yaesu. We can build it with a different ICOM.
Okay,
and
so they're
really
fully customizable by you guys.
Yes.
You know, if I call you up and say, hey, I want a shack in a box, I can literally list out the 7300, the 5100, you know, and I want to throw this solar generator with it.
Yes.
And all of it, you know, you have a pricing structure and...
Yes. We try to make it as customizable as possible, because it might not work for you to have this radio setup, or you might not even want both of them together, which is why we have so many different designs.
Right.
But we wanted to make sure that you can actually use it for what you need.
Okay.
If you're into Aries, then you're going to need a very specific setup for emergency communications. But if you just want to have fun at the park, like I do,
right? You know,
then
I'm
you
a POTA guy, so yep. So you know, for like a POTA box, you do just an HF rig.
Yes. So we actually have stuff like that as well.
Okay. And then Aries races, you can do just a UHF, VHF, which I see we have behind us here.
If you have need to have an EOC or a command center, after all your phone lines go down after a hurricane or anything like that, that's what this is for.
Okay.
This is so that you can run that. But if you're a POTA operator, we like to take this out to our local state parks, national parks, whatever.
Okay, so
this is a good DXing setup for us.
So we actually have the POTA option here, which is the 7300, which again, completely customizable. We can run a Yaesu in there if you wanted, or...
Yes.
Okay, so makes it a lot of fun. Good deal. Well, where do you see the shack going? The shack in the box going? Are you looking at expanding, doing more radios, or because of supply issues, kind of just keeping steady flow right now?
At the moment, I think we just need to keep it a steady flow so that we can basically just keep supplying these. Okay. But in the future, it may be something to look at to have larger scale government contracts, because there are a lot of emergency responders who have seen our work.
There you go.
But for the ham community, not everyone's gonna want it's not going to be a huge thing. I think not at least this year.
Okay.
But
well,
in the future, you never know what's going to be.
There's an issue getting radios right now. I know.
Yes. Ham
Everything
radios
going on.
can be hard to find.
It's 2022 Hamcation right now. Stuff's hard to find. You got to kind of dig and scrap and get what you can. So hopefully in the future things turn around and maybe you get those government contracts.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the Ham Fest.
Yep, you too.